So advertising from your page is a great way to get started. It takes maybe a minute to 2 minutes, and if you haven't advertised before, I would highly recommend beginning there. But one thing I want you all to notice is that when you're advertising on a page, you don't have all of those creative and targeting options that we've talked about. So what I really recommend that you will advertise with is Ads Create Flow. How many of you have used Ads Create Flow before? A few? Okay. First, let's talk about how to get there then. You can go to facebook.com/ads/create. You can also go to your home page, go to the blue caret, use a drop-down, and you will see the part that says Create Ads. And again, the first thing that you're greeted with when you go to Ads Create Flow is the option to select your objective. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough, but knowing your business goal is very important. Because once you select your business goal and your objective, that will determine your content, your budgeting, and your creative. So make sure you really understand what's relevant to your business right now. So with Ads Create Flow, you have a few more options for objectives than you did from your page. There's a few specific ones I'd like to talk to you about. I know a lot of you mentioned that you were brick and mortar, and there's an actual objective for people who are brick and mortar to reach people specifically near your business. And this is called a local awareness ad. And we'll watch a short video on this.
With a local awareness ad, you can easily reach people in the area around your business, so they'll have you in mind when they're nearby. To create your ad, just select Local Awareness and select your business page. Automatically, we'll show your business address on a map based on the address info you entered on your page. You'll see a default radius of 1 mile around your business, but you can easily adjust the radius in the drop-down menu. Next, select the age and gender of the potential customers you want to reach. When you've selected a radius and audience, we'll show you an estimate of how many people may see your ad. Next, select a lifetime budget for your ad. That means the total amount you want to spend on this ad. Select a start and end date, and give your ad a name. To upload an image for your ad, just click the plus button and select a photo from your computer. You can also use our great-looking stock photos, all of which are free. Just click the Browse Library button and select one. Next, write your message for your ad. You'll also get a preview of how people will see your ad on their desktop computer or mobile device. Finally, you can include a Get Directions button, so when people see your ad, they can just tap the button and they'll immediately get directions straight to your business. Local awareness ads take just a minute to set up and are a great way to let people in the area know about your business. For more info, visit fb.me/localads.
So again, local awareness ads are a great way to reach the people near you. There was a brewery in New Hampshire who used this really well, in that they saw that there was a festival going on very nearby to the brewery, but they weren't quite sure what types of people would be at the festival. But they knew they all loved to drink beer. So they ran a local awareness ad and saw great success. Another objective I want to discuss with you all is our e-commerce objectives. How many of you are an e-commerce business? Okay, quite a few. So there's 2 different objectives that are specific to anyone who's e-commerce or has a website. You can send people to your website or increase conversions on your website. And I'm going to talk about the difference between these 2 things. When you select the objective of having a website click, that is simply getting someone to get your webpage in front of them. Whereas a website conversion is getting someone to take some sort of action on your webpage, whether that's a shop now or sign up for some email list. But in order to use the website conversions objective, you need to have Facebook Pixel. Now let's talk about setting our target audience and our budget. We've already discussed targeting, but I'll review briefly. There's a few different ways that you can target your customers. You can look at the interests that they're connected with, the demographics that they belong to, and this is beyond age and gender, the audiences, lookalike audiences, and custom audiences, and their location. Not only where they live, but where they are right now, as per the GPS on their phone. But now, let's go over the question that's on all of your minds. How much should I budget? And we're going to watch a short video on this.
With Facebook ads, you're always in control of your budget and how much you spend on ads. When you run a Facebook ad, you can reach people based on who they are and what interests them. For you, it's a great opportunity to reach people who'll be interested in your business. But there are other businesses on Facebook who want to reach those people too. We want people to have a great experience on Facebook, so we limit the number of ads they see. So when you run an ad, you're taking part in an auction to reach them. It works like this. After you've created an ad and chosen the audience you want to reach, you'll choose a budget for the total amount you want to spend on your ad and how long you want your ad to run. By default, we'll optimize your ad to reach people who are likely to be interested and take action. This is the bidding part of the auction. We bid on your behalf to reach your audience and make your ads as effective as possible. Of course, you can always set your own bid too. As your ad reaches people on Facebook, your budget will be spent. We'll never charge you more than the amount you choose. When your budget reaches zero, or the ad reaches its end date, whichever comes first, your ad will stop. But at any time, you can change your budget or pause ads. You're in complete control. So when you see that one ad is performing well, you can add to your budget. Or if another isn't doing well, you can pause the ad and change it to make it more effective. Facebook ads fit any budget because you choose what you want to spend. And we give you the tools to manage your ads and improve them based on their performance. So you can stay within your budget and continue to reach your business goals.
So there are three big takeaways I want you all to have from this video. The first is that you are in control of your budget. If you're going to spend $1, if you're going to spend $1 million, it is up to you. And you're able to do this in a lot of ways. You can set account spend limits, daily budgets, lifetime budgets on all of your ads. And if you see that something's not working, that you've invested money in, just stop it. And you can immediately, you'll stop paying for it then, and you can see the results of what you've done. Another important thing I want you all to understand is that you are paying for results. So this means that, even though I keep mentioning how important it is that you select a good business objective, this is where that comes through. If you select an objective where you're trying to increase the conversions to your website versus selecting an objective where you're trying to promote your page, those are two very different things that you're paying for. When you select an objective of promoting your page, you are paying per like on your page. If you are trying to increase your conversions, you are paying for your conversion. So it's very important that you understand what is relevant to your business right now, because those are the results that you're paying for. And finally, it's important to understand that you are competing for reach. So if you are trying to reach a target audience that many people are trying to reach, that space is a little bit more expensive and a little bit harder to access. So you need to make sure that your posts are relevant and engaging so you can increase your reach. And also you want to make sure that you're really treating Facebook and Instagram as a marketing channel and putting some marketing spend behind what you're doing so that you can reach your audience. Now, let's move into the fun part, creating your creative. I want to start off just discussing some creative best practices. So let's say you have this ad here, and they say, we have the top 2015 hottest travel destinations with this beautiful image. When I first see this ad, I'm not quite sure how to interact with it. Should I access this company to learn more? Do I need to research on my own and book on my own? What a call to action button gives you the ability to do is directly tell your customers, this is how I want you to interact with me. So by having the option of clicking book now, everyone looking at your ad knows what you have to offer. And it's very important that you're using quality images. We call them thumb-stopping images. Something that's exciting and interesting. And pair it with some quality text as well. Try not to write too much because this will increase the amount that people are skimming over what you're saying. And finally, test. Try a lot of different things. Learn from the things that are doing well and aren't doing so well, and repeat those successes. So I want to talk to you all about a few different ads that we have. The first is a simple link ad, where you have a photo, you click on it, and it'll take you to a link. We also have slideshows. This is a great option for those of you who want that engagement that a video offers, but maybe you don't have the resources to create an actual video. It gives you the opportunity to showcase several different images, and it's still moving and autoplays in a newsfeed. What's very exciting, though, are carousel ads. How many of you have run a carousel ad before? A few. Okay, great.
What's it called?
So a carousel ad, you all may have encountered them before, but they're actually customer manipulated, both on the computer and on your phone. And you can actually scroll through the images as you please. It's a great way to showcase different images and different products. But one thing I really want to specifically point out with the carousel ad is that each image gives you the opportunity to drive customers directly to the website relevant to that image. So let's say we looked at that carousel ad and we saw a few different products, but that salad fork and spoon was what was really attractive to you. If I click on that part of the carousel ad, and I click buy now, it'll actually take me directly to the website relevant to that image. And the carousel format has shown great results. We've seen an average of 30 to 50% decrease in cost per action, and 20 to 30% decrease in cost per click. And carousel ads are kind of a fun way to showcase whatever you're doing with your business. You can maybe showcase a single product and show the different features that it has to offer. Or tell a story. Single girl goes on a date, falls in love, lovefound.com. One thing I want to point out here is that, pardon me, that Facebook carousel, sorry, I love summer, but these allergies are really getting to me.
Welcome to Rhode Island.
So pretty though. But one thing I really want to point out to you all here is that Facebook with the carousel ad actually selects certain images which are performing the best and showcases them first to increase your engagement. But there are some situations when you don't want this to happen. If you're running this ad, girl goes on date, falls in love, is single again, lovefound.com. That's not the message you're trying to communicate. So you really need to be aware of that. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of different ways that you can use this product. You can demonstrate something how to use a new product. But the bottom line is really have fun with this. You can get very creative and use this in a lot of different ways. So think outside the box and have fun with this. Now let's talk about how we know if our ads are working. How many of you used Ads Manager before? Okay, great, quite a few. First, let's talk about how to get there. Facebook.com/ads/manage. If you go to the drop-down, just like we did to Ads Create Flow, right underneath Create Ads, you'll find where it says Manage Ads. And again, there's a few things I want to point out here. But please play around with this. There's so many different insights that Ads Manager has to offer. The first thing you can see is an overview of how your ad is performing, the audience it's reaching and engaging, and the placement. And what you'll see increasingly is that mobile newsfeed will have a lot of the engagement that you're receiving. In fact, I've talked to a lot of companies who now simply optimize only for their mobile newsfeed instead of desktop. Relevance score is a great way to understand how your ad is performing. When I first started advertising on Facebook, I would do a lot of different content. And what I noticed is that the more I liked my creative, the lower my relevance score was. And that just showed me that I wasn't really understanding my audience. And it helped me understand a better way to have reach and engagement. So this is a great objective way to understand how your ad is performing. And again, I'm sure a lot of you are part of teams and you really need to justify those expenses and all of the different information that you're receiving from Facebook. You can actually create reports and customize your reports to share with your team. Selecting different columns, breakdowns, and exporting it to share. Something really exciting that is offered on Ads Manager are audience insights. And you can look at a few different things here. You can look at the entire audience on Facebook, or people connected to your page, or maybe a custom audience, maybe the people who are visiting your website or an email list. And I highly recommend that you check this out and play around with it, because there's a lot of insights that it has to offer about the people that are engaging with your page. And it'll help you understand them better so you can, again, connect with them in the way that they want to be connected with. And we know that you're all doing a lot, so there's an app for this as well. You can download the Ads Manager app from your app store. And it has many different features to help you manage on the go. So now, let's move into a short demo of how to create an ad from start to finish. We'll start with Ads Create Flow and select an objective. Let's say that we want to send people to our website. We'll input our website and select the next section. So if we wanted to upload a custom audience, this is where we would be able to do it. We can also select our location. Let's say I live in San Francisco. I'm going to select a radius here. Looks good. Then we can go into those simple demographics: age, gender, language. Then we have the fun part, the more detailed targeting. And you all should definitely play around with this because the options are limitless. And once you start typing into the box, it actually auto-completes and will give you suggestions of what you're looking for. Just to give you all an idea, you can look at demographics, interests, behaviors, and more. And simply under demographics, you'll see there's a large amount of categories. Life events, are they parents? What generation are they from? What type of home do they own? You can also look at different connections. Are they connected to your Facebook page? Have they attended an event that you created? This is where you can detail out your budgeting and your ad spend, and where you want to create those limits for your account. One thing I want to point out to you all on the right side of the screen is there's actually an estimate for the number of people that you're reaching depending on the way that you targeted and the amount that you're putting into your budget. So it's easy to play around and see what's going to work well for you. Something I recommend is putting in a little bit of money and looking at what's working, and then investing more money in the things that are working. Then we get to choose our ad creative. So you have a few different options here. You can use a single image or video. This is where you'll get image, videos, and slideshow. Or you can do multiple images in one ad. And this is the carousel option that we just discussed. You can also then select your images. One thing I want to point out here is if you feel like you don't have the resources to create your own images, Facebook actually offers free stock images which you can select from an extensive library. However, it's always best to personalize your images when you can. So let's upload an image. Let's say we have a great photo of some avocados. And we'll upload this into our creative. Now for those of you with an Instagram account, this is where you would add that account. You are actually able to advertise on Instagram without having an account. However, we highly recommend that you create an account so that you can have that continued connection with your customer. Also, but only by creating an account can you advertise on Instagram with a call to action button. So there is that limitation. Then you can add your text, a call to action button, and then we can see our creative. We can see what it looks like on our desktop newsfeed, our mobile newsfeed, desktop right column. Let's say we looked at our ads insights and we noticed that our placement on the desktop right column does not have any engagement. It's very simple to remove a placement if you want. And then we can see Instagram. Looks good. Now let's place our order. And there we have it. We can see what it looks like in our newsfeed, desktop right column, mobile newsfeed, and Instagram. So the big takeaways I have for you all is one, how important it is to know your goal. This will change the content that you're creating, the creative that you're creating, your targeting that you have, and again, the results that you're paying for. And get creative and have fun with this. You know, you're all small businesses. You have the unique opportunity to really show your colors and show your brand in whatever way you desire. So really try to have fun and try different things. And when you're trying different things, it's important to track your success. Learn from the things that aren't working out so well and repeat those successes. So we talked about a few different things today. Content. What is relevant and engaging content, and why is that so important? Then we discussed targeting. How can you get in contact with the people that you want to connect with? And we brought this together into creating an ad. I want to talk to you all a little bit about our Instagram business tools. So we have a lot of different options that we're just now building out. And as you can see, we're really working on our Instagram platform and building it out for the small and medium businesses. There's a few different opportunities here. One is just a simple business profile, which gives you all an opportunity to showcase your business on Instagram. We're also working on building out our Insights platform, creating information that's actionable and that'll help you target your followers in a way that they want to be targeted. And finally, promote, a way to quickly and simply launch a campaign. On July 5th, we're actually going to be launching a lot of this information, so you are all just on the cusp of learning about everything. And there's a very unique presence that encourages customer interaction with Instagram. Because with Instagram, people are often on there seeking inspiration. Whereas on Facebook, people are on Facebook to connect with their friends and family. But there's a lot of different options which we will add here, such as having a business address, a contact location, and industry information. With Insights, we'll give a lot of options here as well. You can learn about your impressions and your reach. Figure out what posts are working the best, and learn more about your followers and their demographics. And we'll have a very quick and easy way to promote your business from a mobile device, which I'm sure will be great for you all. So again, July 5th, look out for this launching, and I'll tell you a resource for how you can find out a little more. So throughout this entire presentation, anytime that I've mentioned something where I said we're going to point to that resource at the end, or if you have a question about something that I've discussed, this is the moment, this is that resource that you all need to look at. Facebook.com/business and Instagram.com/business. And I'll point out a few key features of this website. So Facebook.com/business actually gives you the opportunity to look at success stories. This is where you can learn from other businesses and the successes that they've had. And I highly encourage you all to look outside of your industry. because there's a lot of different ways that you can apply other best practices to your own industry in a way that's more innovative. There's also a great Learn How section. And this is where you can search a lot of the different topics that we discussed, including Facebook Pixel, as someone was asking about earlier. And finally, news. This is where you're going to receive all of those different updates, and where I actually go to receive a lot of different updates about what's going on in Facebook. And Instagram.com/business is a platform that is also great to learn a lot about the Instagram tools, and where I would recommend that you all go on July 5th to learn about all of these new launches. And finally, if you're interested in getting help from us, there's a lot of different options available to you. One thing I highly recommend is looking at our Facebook community. What we have is a really great and very engaged community of people who are very knowledgeable on a lot of different topics. And if you post a question there and it isn't answered within 24 hours, there is someone from Facebook who will actually come and answer your question. And finally, I ask that you all take our survey for free e-learning. When I first joined Facebook and was learning about all of our different marketing tools, this is actually how I learned how it works. And I highly recommend that you take it simply for that resource. And of course, we all love to hear from you. So with that, I'd like to end this segment of the presentation and move into the business panel. But first, we'll watch a short video.
I didn't go to business school, but I had just learned how to knit and decided the best way to make a living in a small mountain town was to own a little teeny yarn shop.
I'm the chef, I'm the owner, I'm the janitor, I'm the director of marketing.
I am the CEO, I am the CFO, I am the chief bottle washer.
The little time that I find in between moments, I use Facebook mobile app, and that makes life a little easier.
You don't need to be a copywriter, you don't need to be a professional marketer to use Facebook advertising.
The customer growth is my #1 focus. They ask a lot of questions about parties and packages, and I'm able to communicate with them right away.
Most recently, we launched a new subscription program. I had created a Facebook ad. Within 36 hours, we had 1,000 subscriptions. The best part is that we're targeting people that aren't our customers. This has got the potential to double our business.
We've noticed that most of our customers, they're always on their phone. In order to reach these customers, I do a local awareness ad to jumpstart our day at Barthogi. It has greatly improved our habit business over the last couple months.
Because of the Facebook ads, in the last 3 weeks, we've had to hire 6 new people. Out of all the different channels that we've used, Facebook is the simplest, the most gratifying way of finding people and turning them into customers.
It's incredibly rewarding to actually see those customers standing in front of me. I'd never been able to do that in my career before.
When I see those little girls and boys and you see the reactions on their faces to be the fairy godparents, there's nothing that could ever compare to that.
And with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists to the stage. We have Luis Barrios of Hope and Life International. Daniel Becker of Ogie's Trailer Park. And Janice Pascone of Garden City Center. So for this portion of the panel, you all submitted questions when you were registering for the event. So we selected the most commonly asked questions and as well as a few for the panel.
That's okay.
So if you all could start out simply introducing yourselves and talking about a little bit about your company.
I'm Janice Pascone. I'm Director of Marketing for Garden City Center, which is located in Cranston, Rhode Island. Hopefully you've all shopped there. I handle the marketing, the advertising, the PR. Our summer concerts are starting next Wednesday. Sunshine City's been around since 1947. It's really important for us to connect with our shoppers. People feel like we're part of the community. They've grown up with the center, so it's nice for us to be a community member with them. And Facebook really works well for us.
My name is Daniel Becker. I'm the owner-operator of Ogie's Trailer Park. It's a restaurant on the west side of Providence. It's sort of harkens back. It's retro 50s, 60s, somewhere between Miami Beach and Austin. And there's a lot of interesting cat photos.
Hi, my name is Luis Barrios, and I'm the marketing manager at Hope Life International. I'm here with my boss, Tiffany Erickson. Essentially, we are a nonprofit who offers humanitarian aid and development in Guatemala. We've been around for about 30 years, but our U.S. branch has been around for 8, and we consider ourselves a small business. And yeah, thank you so much for having us.
That's great. Thank you all. Could you all talk to us a little bit about the role that Facebook played in growing your business?
Facebook allows us to get very targeted. In the past, if I was advertising, I could do radio and maybe decide upon country, rock, or pop. The Providence Journal, maybe I could do the light beat pages, the sports page, main news, but it still was too wide of a net to catch. With Facebook, I can target new parents, I can target people who like yoga. For the summer concerts, I can target people who like music. Do they like Journey? Do they like pop? So for not a lot of money, it gives us a great ROI. It gets very specific.
Yeah, our goal was always to use non-traditional advertising. We found that newspapers, TV, radio, we weren't exactly sure who we were contacting, who was actually picking up the article. And, you know, it took us a while to build our space out. And, you know, it was nice that we had close to 2,000 followers before we ever opened. So it was nice to kind of hit the ground running with people that had shown some interest. That had walked by, that had seen some of our early photos that we had posted. So, yeah.
Facebook and Instagram have done a lot for us at Hope of Life. Most of our advertising and our fundraising is done through direct mail marketing, old school way. And we understand that everything is moving into the digital age, and people are on their phones all the time, people are on their laptops, people are on Facebook. I spend most of my day on Facebook, honestly. And we wanted to find a way to target these people who might not necessarily open up a letter and give to us so we can continue doing our work, but they might see a Facebook ad or a video, interact with it, share it. And I think the best way that Facebook has helped us is by sharing our content. And in the back end, in the publishing tools, you're able to see who actually interacted with your video, with your image, how many minutes or how many seconds they actually watched your video. And I use those tools in order to make sure that, you know, say that 5 seconds of the video, people stop seeing the video after 10 seconds. Why did they stop seeing it? Then go back to the rest of my team and structure the next video differently to make sure that we actually keep the audience engagement throughout the entire content. We love Facebook.
Great. So the first audience question that we have is from Liz Leahy of Elizabeth Leahy's Clarinet Studio. Liz, are you here? Well, you're getting your question asked anyway. Liz asked, how do you reach a very specific and relatively small audience? And I'll have to open it to the panel.
You mean like clarinet players?
How do you get really specific with your targeting?
We'll get specific in, you know, I can give an, well, okay. So like Mother's Day, for instance. No, let me,
Me to jump in?
hold on. I can, the thing is I can use one that maybe, I have another business, and like for instance, we do afternoon tea there, which is something that is not for everybody, and just happens to appeal to a certain tea drinkers, women in general, A lot of times it's moms bringing their daughters, it's a lot of times moms bringing their moms. So in that case, we will cater the ad and change the back-end demographics so that we're trying to appeal to women in that case. Because our history has shown that that's who's going to react to it. So something to that effect. But I know that you can drill down. Don't know if you can specifically say clarinet players, but I know you can say people that are interested in music, and in that case, they will be filtered towards your site.
The way that we use target audiences is really cool in that, I'll give you an example. Most of the people that will give to us and donate are women between the ages of 35 and 45. I'm talking about social media specifically. And we have around 10,000 followers. Most of them are probably our target audience of women between the age of 25 and 45. But I create ads when I'm doing a campaign, a fundraising campaign, and that I want to reach other people who are just like them, but they don't necessarily like our page. So I do the lookalike audiences a lot of the times. I'll go into our CRM, which is where we keep all the information from our donors. I'll download the email list. And then I'll upload it to Facebook, and Facebook will take 30 minutes and create a lookalike audience that looks just like them, essentially just like the title says. You can make it to 1%, 2%, even 5%. You can make it very broad or very narrow when it comes to it, and you can create a specific ad that's going to show up to, maybe I want it to show up to the people that already give to us. I want it to show up to somebody who just looks just like Harry from Pawtucket who gives to us, but it's like Clone Mary, just kind of being funny about it. But I love lookalike audiences. It helps us very much, and I think that the tools in the back end of Facebook are very straightforward. You just really need to take your time on them and actually sit down for an hour and try to learn it, and that's essentially how I do it.
Yes, not only can you target with Facebook, but now you can clone. So bringing that up. But yeah, these are great points. Great ways to target someone very specific, both using the detailed targeting options and the customer lookalike audiences. Now let's move to discussing a little bit about engagement and reach. Janice, I know that at Garden City Center you have great engagement with your page, and you've discussed a lot about creating a community. Can you share a little bit about your strategy behind this and the impact it's had?
We don't just want to be a shopping center, we want to be part of the community. And I think it helps that I live in Cranston, I'm 4 miles from the center. My kids are in the school, so I'm always in the know of what's going on. So for example, this winter when we had a few snow days, for those of you who grew up in Rhode Island, do you remember Salty Brian announcing no school? Foster Gloucester. So it was a snow day, and I, first of all, I get their beep on my phone saying no schools in Cranston, and I quickly put it on Facebook, and some people, they laugh because I tell them there's no school before they know there's no school. But I put a picture of Salty Brian up, and I said, before social media, you had to get up and turn on 63 Pro AM and wait till your town was called. And all I did was I boosted it for $20, and I didn't even get that specific. I just put Rhode Island. And I had 2,600 likes, 200 comments, and 711 shares. And all the comments were when people met Salty Brian, or their memories of growing up. Now that post had nothing to do with shopping, dining, had nothing to do with us making money. It just had to do with us saying, hey, remember this? Wasn't that cool? And people loved it.
And Janice, you also have used your page to receive a lot of feedback from your customers.
We do, which is great, because before, if someone didn't like something we were doing, they maybe just bitched and moaned to their neighbor or 10 neighbors or whatever. But now, they feel a lot of ownership of the center since they grew up here, so they do not hesitate to put on Facebook, your event sucks, why did you do that? One person said, your marketing director should be fired, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm not going to respond as me. But it's a good way for us to explain something. So we just made a change in our gift cards, and people did not like it. They were very vocal. And so say Mary Clone replies, I don't like it. I can reply to her, and I'll start by using her name. I'll say, Mary, thanks for sharing how disappointed you are in this change, but let me explain to you why we're doing it this way. And most people, when you do that, they'll go, okay, all right, thanks for telling me. Or some will say, okay, you still suck.
As long as you're getting that feedback somewhere. This next question is from Erica Craigling from Residential Properties. Erica, are you here? Yeah, there we go. So Erica asked, how do I effectively grow my followers?
I'll tell you what worked for us, and can tweak it a little bit depending on your industry. I did a couple of experiments with Boost Your Page to get likes, and for us, it didn't automatically do very, very well. It didn't get the traction that we were hoping for, but I noticed that our following and the people that actually liked our page began to grow simply by posting relevant content and the followers we already had sharing. So I'll give you an example. We created a video for our World Water Day campaign in March. I tried to make it as engaging as possible, and I put maybe $25 behind it for the first week. And a lot of our followers who already, they already interact with us, they're already willing to give, they just loved it so much that they actually did the work for us. They just shared it and commented, and we posted on their personal Facebooks and say, hey, have you checked out Hope of Life? You should really give to their campaign. And from that, not a lot of new people gave, but I remember that in the 2 weeks we ran the campaign, we got almost 500 likes out of nowhere. So I think just making your content relevant, I think people are going to take care of the rest, and you'll get more followers.
Are you talking about followers versus likes?
So I don't, my product is my site, right? I'm real estate. So I can't necessarily say I have something free or sales opportunity, but I want people to be able to, when they think I do real estate, just tell a friend or maybe Erica, click on, check her on Facebook or like her page or listen to reach her, because they may not necessarily have my cell phone or their email address unless they go to the property. So to create awareness essentially of my brand, but I'm just a person. So getting that out there, because I can't say, hey, I have great avocados or tea for sale. I'm just a person that can offer expertise when someone needs to be very specific. That's my product. Right, exactly. But, I can't discount myself.
I mean, if you're dealing in real estate, then, there's, the product is changing all the time. I'm sure new things are coming across your desk, or you just closed something, or something's in contract. I would get used to posting on a semi-regular, if not daily basis at a certain time, so that people, it's part of their news feed and it's something that they get used to seeing. And presumably it's people that either are or very shortly will be in the market, and they're going to want to keep that there almost as a reminder. That's right, I'm moving in a few months, I need to contact somebody. And if you get into that cycle of posting every day, even if it's just something fun or interesting or just a new listing that just came available, I think that goes into people's consciousness, and when they're ready to make a choice, you're the person they're going to choose.
Can I ask another slightly related question that you guys might, or no?
I'm sorry, we have several different audience questions that we need to get through, but I'm sure maybe afterwards they might have some. I won't speak on your behalf, but one other thing I want to point out is when you're growing your followers, be aware of looking simply just for a number of the largest amount of followers that you can get, because you really want effective followers, as Luis is getting at, followers that will engage and share what you're doing and really be relevant to your page. So I think that was a really great point. Can you actually, now let's move into a little bit about the content that you guys have created. Can you all each tell us a little bit about one of the most successful ads that you've done?
Well, probably actually the Salty Brian might have been the effective one, but we do at Garden City, we do photos with Santa Claus. And so then we decided, we're very successful with that, and we decided one year to branch into the Easter Bunny. So we hadn't done the Easter Bunny before, so I advertised it primarily on Facebook, and I again could get very targeted of parents with young children who still believed in the Easter Bunny, that lived within a certain radius, because I don't think you'll drive 30 miles to see the bunny. But the first year we did it, we did $30,000 in sales, and that was for 2 weeks. And that was, we work with a private company, and that was the largest amount of sales for a first-time set. And then the next year we did it, and we were 15% up in sales, and this past year in 2015, we're up another 15%. So I think it's just because I could target the parents, and the parents started talking among themselves, and they would post a picture of their child with the bunny, saying, guess what, I went to Garden City, and they'd say, well, where do I go, how much is it? So it was something that we really created from scratch, and primarily just used Facebook for.
And what kind of ads did you do for that?
I did sponsored posts. So I did sponsored posts, and I just targeted, families, young children, Easter Bunny, Easter, people who believe in Easter, even though that's not Easter Bunny. But it didn't cost me that much to do. And that's the thing with these ads, is sometimes I can spend $50, $20, $25, and I get a lot of results for it. We do have 15,000 fans on our page, and I really think most of our fans are good qualified fans. I grew them slowly, so that does help, but I think it's the targeting that really works.
I've found that in the restaurant business, food porn works really well. People are scrolling through their timeline. Not everything has to come with a story or be that interesting. Sometimes just a really good picture of like a scorpion bowl or a hamburger, just taken the right way. Just something to get people salivating a little bit and maybe making a mental note. I'm hungry. I'm going there later.
Do you take your own photos?
We do take all of our own photos. Not myself personally, but my GM, sometimes the guys in the kitchen. Everyone knows that anytime they create anything interesting, if it's a new special, a new drink, they're supposed to take a good photo of it and send it to me or the GM, and then we'll post it.
For us, I think one of the best campaigns that we ran was the World Water Day campaign. Essentially, we just created a Facebook ad set that asked people to donate so we can provide clean water for children in Guatemala. So I think it was our most successful campaign because I made it very personal when I created the ads. One of the things I did is I gave them the story of a specific child who needed water, as opposed to a story of 1,000 children who need water. Because when you make the story about a specific child or person, or for a restaurant or a jewelry shop, when you're making the story about a specific customer that loved the jewelry, it seems to do a lot better, and it's a lot more engaging, because that person can, if you're a jewelry shop or a restaurant, that person can relate to Sally, who just had a burger or got this really nice necklace, or in our instance, that person can relate, can think about the child in the video as their own child. Like, oh man, this 10-year-old Guatemalan kid doesn't have water, and they start thinking about their 10-year-old boy who does have water, and that increases the likelihood that they're gonna not just engage, but they're gonna give, or that they're gonna come into your store. So I think that was the best ad set that we created. I spent, $400 on the entire ad set, and the ROI on that was about maybe $1,300 in donations that we received. So I think we did well on that, and it was all about making that personal touch.
Very impressive results. This question is from Miles, and I'm going to mess this up, Vinciguerra, of Miles of Land Care. Great name. And Miles asked, what is the greatest way to stand out from the crowd when posting on Facebook?
Well, one thing I'll say, when it comes to the holidays, like 4th of July is coming, and you look on your Facebook feed and you'll see everyone will say, Happy 4th of July with a picture of the flag. What I try to do different is have a different 4th of July message. So, for example, for Christmas, and we're a shopping center, I want people to be spending money, but on Christmas Day, I will post a quote from The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. And it goes something like, it came without ribbons, it came without bags, blah, 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 and the Grinch thought perhaps there is a true meaning of Christmas after all. Now that really has nothing to do with me trying to sell product, but I go back to that, on the Christmas morning, that's what it's about. So try to be unique in that. So like for Veterans Day, I'll find some great local veterans organization and I'll post something about them. So just don't be standard, just do something different.
I think having a sense of humor is important. Again, you gotta think about where your ad is falling in these people's day, people that are reading it. It's going to be on their news feed. It's going to be scrolling through. Not to be. There's a lot of bad news that goes with that. There's a lot of people that are posting about terrible things that are happening all over the place. And I think if you can provide a respite from that and a little bit of tranquility with a little sense of humor, I think that goes a long way. It's something that I react to personally.
In order to stand out, you just have to think outside the box. I spend most of my day on Facebook doing marketing for Hope of Life, but at the end of the day, when I go on my timeline, I always think about what I engage with. I love those videos that show you how to cook something. Tasty videos. I never actually cook, but I just love them. They're awesome. And I always think about what I want to see, or sometimes you have to think about what your audience wants to see, because again, what you want to see might not necessarily be what they want to see. So just put yourself in their shoes. Like they're scrolling through their phone most likely, and they see like a picture of their dad that just went on a skiing trip. They're seeing a picture of like Budweiser commercial, the little retriever, and then they're seeing your ad and just says like, come buy now. They're gonna be like, oh, whatever, I'm not gonna go buy. But if you give them a story that they're talking about, or something that's relevant to them, it's gonna increase the likelihood that they're gonna engage. And I always think that you need to post with a purpose. Just don't like, oh, I posted for today, it's over. What's the purpose behind that post? What is it gonna convert into? It might not necessarily be your objective to convert that into a sale right away, but what's the purpose? Are they going to like your page? Are they going to come and shop at your store? Or are they going to keep you in the back of their mind for lunch? So just kind of have fun with it, learn what your audience likes to see, and post with purpose.
So one other thing I'd say besides food porn is dogs. People love dogs on Facebook and cats and bunnies. But seriously, that's one of the #1 things that gets attention is pets, cute pets. I can't stop. You watch the cooking shows. I watch those cute dog videos all the time.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can always check out your insights to look at which of your content is really getting the most engagement. Kind of going off of what Luis was saying, our next question is from Paula Catalano of Table at 10. When is too much advertising on Facebook?
I don't really know if you're targeting the right way. I don't really know if there's ever too much. It would be too much if you are wasting your dollars and you don't have enough money. But I really can't see anybody advertising too much. Just keep it within your budget.
I would say, I would agree with that. You can't advertise too much, but you can bore your audience. Or you can, they'll just be mad at you because all you do is like shop, 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 shop. Advertising is not just come and buy right now, come and give us money now, come and do this. Advertising is reporting, like, hey, like his GM, his chefs, they just made these awesome, like, tater tots are awesome, by the way. And you took a picture of it, and then you post it. My GM, John and Mike, they just did this, it's awesome. And you didn't say, come by now or come have a drink. All you said, you were talking about the tater tots. So you can never, you really can never advertise too much. You gotta stay between your budget, of course, but always post content out there. People love to see awesome things on Facebook and Instagram. Just don't make it boring and stop. You know, I can't say this enough. Don't just like say, do this, shop. I personally, or people that I know or our audience, they're just gonna get bored. They're like, man, like, I just wanna scroll down and watch a puppy video right now.
And Dana, you developed a very specific content schedule with your page. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah. We try and post around the same time every day. In our case, at Obie's, we open at 4 o'clock pretty much every day except Sunday. And so we want to post sometime between noon and 3 o'clock. Because you want people to see it before you're open. Also, you got to think about when are people actually going and looking at this. Is it on their lunch break? Is it more towards the end of their day? I mean, if you're thinking about it from in an office, you definitely want to get people before 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. People are making plans also for the day, and so we just try to stick to that so that it's something that will show up around the same time, and it will get people interested, and they can make an informed decision of if this is something they want to do that night, the special that they have, or it's trivia night. Oh right, they do trivia on Tuesdays, or there's just a picture of a dog sitting outside in the patio.
This next question is from Doreen Griffin of the Meeting House circa 1790. Doreen asks, what are the best ways to use Instagram and the best way to get the most out of it to boost your business?
We love Instagram. It's the best. The way that we've used Instagram at Hope of Life is not necessarily the same way that we use Facebook, because the demographic's different. We also offer trips to volunteer down in Guatemala, and most of the trips are done by college students, or they just graduated high school. And Instagram's a really good tool to reach out to them. And Instagram's all about images. I think when I go on Instagram, or when other people go on Instagram, they scroll, and the image that captivates them the most is the one that they're gonna like. And they might go a little bit farther and comment on it, but they might not necessarily even read the paragraph that you put. I hate when people put like a whole story on Instagram below their picture, because no one's really gonna read that. Unless you make the image engaging. Now, if you make the image engaging, it starts telling the story right away. It increases the likelihood that people are gonna want to finish the story in the paragraph they have below. So I think you need to just create the image as beautiful, as engaging as possible, and know that the demographic's probably a little bit younger, which is not a bad thing, than we might be on Facebook.
Our next question is from Stan Muslow of Stan Muslow Studios. Stan asked, how do I measure the success of using Facebook or social media as it relates to my business?
It's a photo studio?
Yeah.
I would say, one, does the phone ring? Are people asking you questions? I follow a lot of photo studios, or I follow a lot of photographers on Facebook because I just love looking at the images. So I would judge it by, is there interest there? If no one's liking your post or commenting, then your image isn't strong enough. But also, with Christmas coming up, maybe starting in October, say Start thinking about your family holiday card. Don't make it be as boring as last year. Don't wear those stupid denim shirts with the white pants. And put that everywhere, just see if you can get people engaged.
I mean, I would try boosting an ad. Pick a number, $20, and just try and just gauge what has come from that ad. I mean, how many times has the phone rang? And you can ask people, how did they get your number? Why are they calling? Did they see this on Facebook? I mean, if you want to, but I think that's the simplest way to get started. Is to boost one ad and then see what comes out on the other side.
The way that we measure success is whatever, if you created an ad set, or if you boosted a post, or if you even posted a picture organically on Instagram. Beyond, everybody loves likes, and I love likes and the little heart on Instagram. And you'll know how engaging your post is by how much interaction you're given. The way that we measure success is it converting into something. It might not necessarily be money, but are people taking an action? How many hits did you get on your website through your Facebook pixel? Or how many comments? I love comments. Sometimes we have a video or a post that got a bunch of likes and shares, but not a lot of people commented. I love when people comment because they'll tell you what they think, or they'll start telling you a story. I've had so many people, I'll give you an example. I put a post up about a child that we rescued in Guatemala. And then one of our followers commented below it about how her adopted daughter was rescued 10 years ago, the exact same way. And I ended up messaging her and getting a little bit more about her story. But to me, that was success because we actually interacted with somebody. They told us their story, and that comment is there for other followers to view, and they might be encouraged to share as well, and they might actually see, wow, this is like a personal thing, like maybe I will give to them. So just, are people taking action? Are they actually doing something with your post is how success is measured, I think.
That's some great advice. As we're nearing the end of our time, I have one last question for you all. What advice would you give to businesses just starting out on Facebook and Instagram?
One thing I would say, like you had said earlier, is spend some time on it. Spend some time on insights, figure out what you want to do. Like you said, have a goal. What is my goal today? And then do trial and error. Like you said, do a post for $20 and then did it work, did it not work? Maybe even ask a friend, say go on your page and look at what I did and what do you think about it? Because you're sometimes too close to it to understand it. So just learn as much as you can. And then look at other businesses in a similar situation to yours and look at their page and see what you think they're doing right and maybe what they're not doing right. And it's always okay sometimes to talk to somebody else. Like maybe you call up a photographer, maybe it's not in Rhode Island, maybe you find one that's in Connecticut, so you're not in competition. And just have a conversation with them. What works for you, what doesn't work for you.
I would have a strategy to have a voice, figure out what that voice is. You yourself are unique, and whatever your business is, even if it's something, it's a pizza place. You didn't invent pizza, but you can have a style, and you can have a voice. You can have something that people feel that they're getting to know you on some level. They have a good sense of humor about themselves, or they're not trying to sell you all the time. But it has to come from you. So it has to be based on you yourself. And Louis said something earlier that is sort of my mantra in life, which is just don't be boring. There's plenty of boring people out there with boring businesses. Do yourself and the rest of us a favor and just try and be interesting.
I want to apologize if your business is boring.
They probably don't know.
Yeah, you're not aware, but I guess my advice would be, and I used to be a social media consultant before I came aboard at Home Life, is be patient and don't give up. Experiment a lot. I can't tell you how many businesses that I worked with. I was do some consulting for them. They said, "Oh, I tried Facebook, and I would post, and nobody ever did anything, and nobody ever bought anything." I'm like, "Hey, you only tried for like 6 months, and your posts were probably really boring. Why don't you give it a try?" And some of them would like, "Oh, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah," and they just like walk away. But some of them would actually sit down and listen, and I would say, "Hey, you gotta be patient, you gotta experiment." Just like, sometimes you just gotta be really quirky with it and throw something out there and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, don't give up, try it again. It's a lot of trial and error. I did do a lot of experimenting on Facebook, because even though I know my audience, I never knew that they would interact with the video or image that was different than what I usually post. It just takes time. 6 months, I used to tell my clients this, give us at least 3 months to see some success. And you'll start seeing real success within 6 months. It's not gonna happen overnight. You just really have to be at it, and it'll work.
The other thing I would add is, before you start a business page, make sure you use it personally. Because if you're not on it personally, you're not going to get the ebb and flow and what works. So you've got to have your own person self out there, so you kind of know what you're doing, so you don't mess it up.
Well, that is some great advice. We need a huge round of applause. I hope you all learned something today. I know I did, which is don't be boring. Definitely delightful. I'd like to close this out by announcing the winners of the prize drawing. We have Donna Rivera of Adoption, Rhode Island. Donna. Alma Anderson of Shrine Studio. And Joseph Tashash of Lincoln Creamery. Great. Thank you all so much for joining us today.